Oh, fucking right. Here we go again. Your dog, Caesar Leo, knows it all. Back at it. Like the motherfucking Black Bible. Ain't no quitting on us. We doing this. You know what I'm saying? We doing this. We had technical difficulties earlier, but that's over and done with. Right, Hank? How you feel?
Getting on it, man. We back on it.
We back on it.
Go.
Did nothing happen.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That's
Damn.
right, baby. Undeterred. Undeterred, baby. We out here. We doing it. Vale verga. All right, Caesar Leo knows it all. We will not obey. We will not cower. We're here with power. We're here to do our motherfucking thing to fight against Skynet and to take over. All right, we're on the war on the truth. They will not stop us. They try to stop us. They try to hack into our system and fuck up our audio. Nah, I wish it was our own fuck up. All right, man. But
No, man,
we're gonna have nobody live with us, but
they're trying to stop us.
they're trying to stop us, dog, but they ain't gonna stop us, right? Hey, hell
right.
nah, dog. We out here. Blah, la, suprema. Yeah. All right, man. Wow, dog. What a crazy last hour. Shout out to anybody who is gonna join us, whoever watches this later. Thank you for your patience. All right, man. So, dude, let me give this. I tried to do this 3 times already, dog. Let me get right into my first monologue because there's so much going on in the world, so much I want to say, man, and thank you for everybody who I have a steady 25 people who watch the show every week, man. So you know what? I'm gonna give you everything that you come to watch, man. All right. So we're gonna grow that. Our fan base, thank you for coming by every week. So I'm not gonna let you down, man. We're gonna see this through, man. All right, man. Here we go. Here we go today. Today, the question of the day today is what is smart? What makes somebody smart? The reason that this is on my mind is because I've been seeing a lot of stuff about the Asian American folks who are suing Harvard and these other places, right? They're suing all these bigs because they're saying that it's like reverse racism, that they have the most merit and that they should be the ones who go into these big schools. Like if you go to the UC schools here in California, you notice people say that acronym for UCLA is like a University of Caucasians and lots of Asians, right? Like there's a lot of like Asians everywhere, right? Which is fine, right? But what I do, this might sound like I'm kind of going at Asians, but I'm totally not, man. I'm just asking the question out loud, right? Like what is smart, right? And what makes the difference between them and us and who's going to be the leader of the future, right? Because if you ask me, right, there is smart in that being able to do something really well and follow orders, but then there's also the smartness of creativity, right? Now, you don't own any Chinese inventions, right? There's nothing. I mean, you might own something that they did, like they invented the first fan or some shit, like, right? But nothing modern, right? They didn't invent the computer. They might have manufactured it, but they didn't invent it. You don't drive Chinese cars. You don't drive Russian cars, right? You don't. We don't watch their films. Their music is not hits around the world. Neither are their religions, right? Um, So what is smart, right? Like usually I'm somebody who is super about merit, right? I don't necessarily like affirmative action programs. I thought that was a time for them, but maybe now there is no more time for them, right? I've kind of been a guy who you would think that I'm not on that way, but now when I think about it with Asian Americans, and then, like I said, it might sound messed up, dude, but I think that kind of like the university quotas, man, because you know what it is? They found a way to like hack the system. When I say hack the system, is that what they do is they do all the extracurriculars, right? They instead of getting a 4.0, like I grew up in a ghetto school, the most you could ever achieve is a 4.0 because there was no extracurriculars to give you above that, right? Now there's other folks out there in the world who can do that, right? They're able to get the extra violin class and join the club team and do this extra shit, right? So they hack. Like, are they really smart or are they really good at following orders? Whoop, I lost myself. Okay, I'm back, right? So, or are they really good? Or are they really good at just doing what they're told, right? And by that, what? And by that, what? You know, what is actually the best? You know what I'm saying? I ask myself, yo, yo, yo. No, I'll keep. Okay, yo, yo, yo. Okay, so I ask myself, like, which one is it, right? And then I also ask myself because right now we're gonna get in a world where we're competing against AI, right? And then with AI, the problem with AI is that or what I think is that AI is not really smart. It's still going to be based on human, right? And whoever programs it. So then I think that maybe our programming is going to be better because us as Americans, we're not that way. What makes us great is our creativity, right? We're not going to just bow down. We're not going to just do as we're told, right? Our creativity, like people, what we sell the most is our culture, right? And our American way of in our lifestyle, right? That's what people buy from the U.S., right? And that is what makes it better. If you're at those universities, what they do is they pick like they don't just standard like when you go to a state school like I did. They just if you make the grades, you can get in, right? No, they kind of pick your class, and they go like, hey, I want this kid's a well-rounded quarterback from this area, right? They get like the brightest minds, right? But that's why they're stopping with all the Asians because they're all the same. They all end up being. Now I worked. I didn't grow up around Asian folks, but then in college I went to school with many Asians, and I worked. And Asian folks are bright, beautiful, smart, funny, everything, right? But just as much as everybody else, right? Like I can't tell you that every time I was like these are like walking geniuses. I will not say that. Now they're just as smart as everybody else, just as capable, right? Funny, just like everybody else, right? But I cannot tell you that they're exceptional, right? But the numbers and stuff will have you thinking that, and it makes me think: are they actually smart, or are they actually just really good at at following? Like Huawei, right? Huawei is just a big. All they do is hack everybody's stuff, right? Um, what do you think, Heck, about all this, dog? I ran to you've heard me.
I've never thought of this. Interesting points, man. Yeah, you bring a lot to the table. Not sure. Let's see. They didn't invent the umbrella.
Oh, they did invent the umbrella. Okay, that's interesting. Right.
Mechanical clock.
Okay, mechanical
compass,
clock. Great. Okay, great.
Gunpowder.
Okay, nice.
Paper making, acupuncture.
Nice. Awesome stuff, right? Awesome stuff, right? But let's say design, engineering, spaceships, rockets, right? Cutting edge things, right?
I see your point. I definitely see your point. I see that. You know what? At the end, but I formulate. I see it back to corporate giants that we are, and at the end of the day, all we're looking for is money. And
and they provide that. Like they'll pay for the schooling. That's one thing about they'll pay for the schooling.
But I think it's deeper than that. I think the corporations are embedded in the school systems now. It's just like athletes, the exploitation of athletes now that we've talked about before. Right. I think it's the same thing. Like because it's all stat based, and so they give the assumption that if they go here, it's gonna be a better, smarter here. And like you said, it's all
they create like this thing where everybody makes like this frenzy. So that
I don't necessarily think that they created. I think that the system itself. I think the school system itself is the one that creates it. I think that they're the ones that are driving the numbers down our throat in that sense, right? So I think it's the system itself. I don't necessarily think it's the community that's driving it. I think it's the system itself that we're also, in school, they're disciplined, man, as a culture, man. They're just not on the shit that we're on.
Right, they're not. Right. No, not the thing, right? But they're really
very driven.
Oh, you know what? That was one of the points I was gonna say, man. One thing they remind me of, and like I told you, it sounds kind of racist, right? But it's like, and that's where tech is going to, is like the whole idea of like a hive mind, right? Like a hive mind is like the things in the future, they're gonna be like, it's gonna be like the way that the bug organisms are, right? Where they all are just kind of for the greater good. There's just a bunch of individuals. Like I feel like Chinese, they're spread all over the world. They go everywhere. You find it, in the middle of El Salvador, in the middle of Angola, in Africa, and they'll be there by themselves. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I find that interesting, but then it's smart and it gets the best result, right? It ends up with them rich, but is it like individually smart? Is it really creative, or is it like really good at like hacking systems and just doing what you're told really well? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Just a question that I asked myself, dog. So yeah, man, for the second time, dog, we're gonna move on with that, man. If anybody catches us on the repeat, man, let me know in the comments. Please log in and subscribe, man. Become subscribed to the channel if you like what we're talking about here, man, because we're gonna talk about a lot of cool stuff, man. All right, so we're gonna move on. Thank you, big dog, to the news of the day, man. There's a lot of news going on in the world, man. Your friendly reporter here, Czaleo Becerra, Czaleo Baca Nueva, Czaleo Bea Real, Czaleo Burgundy here reporting to you live from Hollywood, California with the latest things going on in the world, in the news. The latest and the greatest, and things that make us say, right? So let's get into the very first one that I wanted to talk about. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to open up my script because I had to log on to my computer again. So that is no problem. Give me 5 seconds here. What I wanted to talk about was you know what I'm tripping about is those fires, dog, with Pemex. Have you seen how that happened now too, man? I don't know, dog. I feel like we're under attack, dog. So now all these gas stations are under fire, right? On top of that, all these trail derailings, right? What's up with that, Hank? This doesn't seem funny to you, dog? Like, I don't know, dog. I feel like we're just like they're trying to charge this new system, dog. They're trying to make us all fucking be electric, huevo, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oof.
Do you find that anything
Wow.
connections, or you find it just to be
You know what,
random?
I had not looked at it at all, but yeah, but that makes sense. Yeah, they're like, again, walking us down the road, right? They're forcing us in to certain
Yeah, I
extent.
feel all these things, but like I told you, dog, I have this. I feel like there was a plan that's been down for hundreds of years, and now these people who are in charge of it, they're fucking it up. Like they're sloppy about it, dog. Like we all know what's happening, dog. I feel like there's a resistance, man. So that thing has me asking what's up, right? That thing has me asking super what's up. Did you check out the XFL by any chance, dog?
I have not.
So the XFL seems like it's kind of kicking ass, man. People say that they've been watching it, dog, and you know what? I hope it does well, man. I am you guys, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of the NFL. I feel like it's a little bit rigged, right? So ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the XFL, let me know what you guys thought of it. There was a couple of players. AJ McCarron, he had a big weekend, man. He's this player that he'd always he's been like a backup in the NFL for like 10 years, right? But he never got a chance. He made a gang of money. But he said he decided to go there and play to make some memories for his kids, man. But just overall, dog, it's just better competition. Like competition is good for everything, right? Like the NFL is a little bit of a fat cat, right? Like how many players get a bad rap, you know? They do one mistake or they, you know what I'm saying? They have one injury and, you know what I'm saying? There's a gang of good players out there, man. I think that the XFL is nothing but good news for anybody if you're a sports fan, dog. Kind of sticking on the NFL thing, dog. Do you know a little bit about I know you're not too much of a football fan, Hank, but have you heard about Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that fool, people, you know what, dude? That fool Russell Wilson is like the epitome of like everything was good a week ago and shit, you know? You know what's funny though? I think that what happens with because that fool, Seattle used to be with Future and all that shit. I think that's at the root of so long story short, the media's coming out saying that there's reports saying that Russell Wilson actually had wanted Pete Carroll fired and the general manager. And they ended up not turning out that way. The owners ended up sticking with Pete Carroll, and then they traded him. And the thing that was supposed to be funny is that Russell Wilson wanted them to bring in the coach, what's his name? Sean Payton, right? Who was the coach of the Saints. He wanted them to fire Carroll and bring in Sean Payton. So they ended up not firing him. They ended up trading Russell Wilson, the quarterback, to Denver. And then he went there and had the shittiest year of all time, fucking the worst year ever, the biggest quarterback to get paid, and straight up suck, Hank.
Yeah,
straight up. They only won like 3 games. Just didn't do
it,
shit,
yeah.
dog. Got revealed to be a fake quarterback. Got revealed that Pete Carroll was doing everything. But now all that comes out, and now they fired the coach, and you know who they're bringing in? Sean Payton, the guy who won it. He won it originally, right? But he's coming in with a different attitude about like, I'm the boss now. So it's funny, like you get what you wish for in a weird way, you know. But you know what? I think that the Russell Wilson's problem, big dog, is as his wife, dog. I feel that he regret. I don't know. I feel like his wife is kind of thotty, dog. Ciara still be out there putting out songs about single women, right? She like came up. He was like a super good boy, dog. You know what I'm saying? He like I don't know, dog. I feel like at the end of the day, he goes home and he deals with that, dog, in his head. You know, all that locker room and all the fools talking about it, it gets to him. You know, I think, dog. But that's just my wild theory, dog. Another thing that's going on in the news. Trump and DeSantis, dog. Who you got, dog? It seems like they're kind of going at it these days.
I saw that too.
What do you think, dog? It seems like they're already starting. Like Trump is coming out there, dog. You know,
he's going for him, huh?
That's what it seems like. Hold on 1 second here.
I'm trying to pull up some info for you.
Let me see here. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about, dog? Did you know that fool Dilbert from that comic book series Dilbert?
Yeah.
Dude, that fool fucked up, dog. You saw what he said?
I didn't catch it, but I saw it flash on the news and then I missed it, man.
Yeah, dog. This fool messed up, dog. So he's the creator, dog. So he's kind of been on something. He was actually against COVID, then he came out saying that COVID was right. He's kind of been like making his rounds as like a YouTube person, right? And he's famous because Dilbert's been on forever, right? He's like nationally syndicated real, right? Let me show you. I have what he said, dog. Dude, this fool fucked up, dog. I can't. This fool, he ate shit, dog. Let me show you.
Elon Musk accused the media of racism against white and Asian people.
On his YouTube channel, just to summarize what that was, if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, that's a...
This is what he says, dog.
are not okay with white people.
Let's watch the comments that he
Check
made.
this out, bro.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
So Adam said on his YouTube channel, just to sum.
Whoa.
Bro, he went hard, dog. You know what I'm saying? He went super hard. And then he still doubles down on it, dog. He just like, no. He's like, for that much people, like it's beyond us. He's like, I moved as far away from black people as I can.
What?
Bro, he lost it, dog. He straight freaking lost his mind, dog. You heard what he says, that white people get away. I mean, 21% of people saying that it's not okay to be white. That's a big percentage. You know what I'm saying? He might have an argument saying, he might be trying to say, well, he's not trying to, he went hardcore with it. So he said what he said. He was fucking deliberate. You know what I'm saying? No, the argument can be made like he's like, well, you know what? Maybe there is so much tension right now. Like it is, it's been built up. You can say that it is a shame that many people would say that it's not okay to be like the other way around. Imagine if 23% of white people said it's not okay to be black, right? It would be crazy, right?
Crazy.
But dude, the way he said it, dog, he fucked up. Dog. That fool's cancer. Now, I'm not a big cancel culture guy now, but he earned it, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, what'd you think, big dog? I mean,
yeah, that's crazy. Why would he say that? Like, what is wrong?
Yeah, dog, he went wild, man.
Man.
Yeah, man. I mean,
well, the reason why I'm tripping out is because of who he is, right? So he's that comic strip.
Yeah,
right?
man. He's like yeah, he even had a TV
culture.
show. And then he started complaining because back then Dilbert had a TV show back in the day. It was on UPN, but then his show got canceled because they went for like the black lineup. On UPN, they ended up being like the black culture show, network. So he has all this like hidden animosity, dog, and it just came out it came out spewing,
so
dog.
this is not
Yeah, you know what he sees like that's not reasonable, dog.
That's some deeper too.
Yeah, man. So
because what I'm saying is, my point is that him being a voice for the culture, for a culture in anything, could be in a comic, a comic strip.
Yeah,
in a newspaper, right?
Yeah,
that's a voice.
Yeah, no, I'm all about free speech,
right?
But I mean, there's consequences.
So that's crazy that he has that mentality, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. He's just like, give up. He's like, white people get us far away like that. To say that out loud.
Damn,
the thing is,
son,
like,
where'd you find this?
Damn,
son, where?
Here's the thing is now that any white people who has the money to not be around black people, they're already not around black people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like there's a bunch of who have they already kind of are away, dog. But this is like extra on it, dog, which is kind of funny, dog. You know what? Another thing I want to talk about, dog, that I found interesting, dog, that happened this week. Let me see here.
That's crazy,
right?
Moving on.
There was this new study, dog, that came out by the Pew Research Center, which is like the center. They did one on young men. Let me see here. And long story short, dog, young men are losing, dog. Like young men are super. Most young men are single. Most women are not, dog. It talked about how like 60% of young men these days don't have any girlfriend, dog. You know what I'm saying? Twice the rate of unattached young women, signaling a large breakdown in the social, romantic, and sexual life of American males. Men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless, and lonely. Okay, dog. There's nothing that's more dangerous in this world than, like I told you, this is at some point now. Like now, women are at universities way more. Women are earning more money than younger men, right? In every category, women are beating men, which some people say, oh, great, but there has to be a balance, right? Because these are become dangerous people. Like unfulfilled men, weak men are the most dangerous thing that there is in the world, if you ask me, right? Let me see here. I had a little bit more. I had this good article.
Majority of them are right. Like, facts. The majority of them are the ones that were bullied, or I wouldn't say bullied because that's probably the wrong term now, right? But what I'm saying, the ones that never stood up for themselves to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, and then women, they're out earning the man. So then what happens is that people get stuck in this and that. Like women, which is great. But women who are college educated, they don't want to date a man who's not college educated. And a woman who makes more than a man, she doesn't want to date a man who doesn't earn. So we're gonna have this giant a bunch of people. What's happening is that like 30, like the thing is with women is that they all date the alpha. They all want to go for the main dude, right? So the main dudes are killing it, right? Fools are lucky I'm out here married. Dog. I'm saying, 'cause I'll be killing it, dog. But just kidding. You know what I'm saying? But so there's like a problem here, right? And then young men are disaffected. They're just told all day to fucking play video games and freaking jerk off. Like, what is this gonna lead to? Like, there needs to be, there's like this war on men and boys, and there's like no leadership. And then you look on TV and everybody's weak. Like, this is going to boil over in some way. Like the people like that, all these incels that they've been making it up, but they're gonna actually making them. They're gonna. I feel like the people that they say that I feel don't exist, they're making them exist by creating these things, man. So when you get a chance, man, check out. There's all kind of interesting statistics about like the areas where women are kind of outranking, like they're just winning, and which, like I said, the pay gap is it's totally different. The world has changed, right? But there also has to be a plan for young men, man. So it worries me, big dog. What do you think, Hank?
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, I saw, man. I kind of see this. I kind of see what you're saying. I went to the gym the other day, and I saw a lot of young men, and they were not. I don't know how can I tell you, man. They were just not. They were just kind of in their own little bubble,
right?
And on their phones and just not.
Right. I feel like there's a lack of picardia, dog. Well, I'm not saying I don't know what fools are doing. I mean, people are still fucking, I'm sure, dog. But
I'm not necessarily think I don't think that picardia that is the answer, but I think that there's just like everyone's kind of like encapsulated in their own little zone, man, and they're just not. They're not being outgoing anymore. It's not like it's just not. People bump into you and they're just very quiet. They're in their own little shell. Or you know what? I'll give you an example. We went in the sauna and somebody asked if someone sitting there, and the kid he stood quiet. It's like
he didn't even know how to answer.
Yeah, he didn't. He's like, bro, is someone sitting there or not?
Yeah, and
he just stood quiet, and then the guy goes, no one's sitting there. He's like, and he just kind of like just looked at him like, oh, you talked to me, or so, that it's kind of weird, man. Yeah, I see that a lot more often now. I don't see kids that are outgoing anymore. Think
about it, dog. Look, we're talking about like the kids who are young these days, bro. You're talking about a whole generation, bro, that was only born online. Dog. We're the last people who saw the old world, right? So think about it. The fools who are 20 years old these days, they didn't see the old world. They've only been online forever, right? So they've grown up online. Then they had COVID on top of that, where they went to school for a year for COVID, right? So they've grown up in this feminized world, right? They've grown up in a world of everything. Girls. Their teachers are all females. Everything is you can't be violent. People can't fucking be violent in school. Their TV shows, they all have fucking LGBT agendas, right? There is no more Schwarzenegger. There is no more Van Damme, right? They didn't grow up watching that like we did, right? It's all Sex in the City, right? Hopefully some of them caught Entourage, right? But very few of them did, right? The Last Man show, right? You know what I'm saying? They're told not to play sports. They're told that sports is gonna give you a goddamn concussion and you're gonna die, right? The military's less, right? They're told that it's okay to be fat, right? They're fucking given sugar, right? And then the thing is that, and then they're told, and then the women, they're told, they're told that if they look for the virginity in a woman, that's wrong, right? So they're supposed to deal. All the girls in their age, they're all like, "I'm gonna do this, I'm a hoe," and you can't say shit about it. So they gotta be in the middle of like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, they could just they have porn at their hands at any time, right? Not like us, we have to go to the video store. It was a damn mission, right? You have to call your friend and tell him, "Hey, bro, let me borrow the video. Pretty much, I'm admitting to you, I'm gonna jack off right now." It was a fucking whole process, right? These fools could just do 2 clicks away, right? So what's happening, dog? And what does this mean for our future, right? What does this mean for mating, right? Because everything is so, as women are, it's like whenever something progress, something still has to regress, right? And like life has to be about balance, right? Men aren't, and the people, they're not designed to be, in the house raising children. Men are supposed to be out there. And then the thing is, though, also the idea is like the workplace. The workplace is made more for women because nowadays we're not working with our hands. We're working in the office and just, once again, follow orders, right? Women are great workers. They are. They get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Men are all, it's kind of like, it's just a trip. I don't know what the answers to these things are, but they're interesting stuff. If anybody get a chance to check out that Pew Research, it's interesting stuff, man. The last piece of news I want to talk about, man, you saw Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, so
He went on SNL, dog, and he said this. People are trying to make it. He said like, so imagine it. He said he was like he's like, I got this fake script, right? Imagine the biggest drug cartels in the world get together and they buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked into their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over, right? Which is pretty much what happened, right? So now people are trying to make them a conspiracy theory and all this shit. But I mean, hey, I mean, you know what? I applaud SNL for being funny and being edgy, man. It had been a long time since they did stuff like that, man. So that was not so bad, man. You know, so yeah, man, that was dope, man. And you know what? I guess that'll be let me see here. Anything else I want? You know what? That's it. That's the news of the day, big dog. Thank you, guys. All right. Czaleo knows it all. Moving on. All right, man. Moving on. The next thing that was on my mind right this part of the show is when I do the. That's right. Log in, click subscribe, like, or don't like. If you don't like, put that too. That's cool, man. Whatever it is, man, let us know, man. We want to know, man. Thank you. All right, man. If I rule the world, baby. You know what? Today's real simple. Now, I don't got a complicated one today, Hank. I got a real simple, easy peasy one that annoyed me. That's something I noticed over the weekend, big dog. So if I ruled the world, I wouldn't switch up anything at In-N-Out. Okay? This is controversial to me, dog. Look, I worked at In-N-Out. I am of the people who actually worked at In-N-Out. You know what I'm saying? You got so you know, it's a special place in my heart. It's a hard job to get. At the time, you know, anytime they get a certain type of person to work there, so I took pride in my job. The one thing about In-N-Out, man, they're real big about their lore and their traditions, man. Their menu has been their menu forever. Burgers, shakes, and fries. That's it. Okay, that's it. When you work there, you always hear about this famous guy, this manager in Fresno one time tried to introduce chicken sandwiches. That fool, they ran up in that fool in one day, fired him, and the whole nine shut that down, you know? Burgers, shakes, and fries, right? Now, as you know, if you know anything about In-N-Out, they have kind of a tragic history, right? Like the original owner died.
I don't know much about In-N-Out.
Yeah, I think we went over it in one of the episodes back in the day.
Yeah.
So In-N-Out, the original owner, he ended up dying. He had two sons, and the grandma, right? But the grandma, she wasn't really involved. The main dad, I think he died of a heart attack. But then the two sons, one of them, the main fool took over. He was real dope, but he died in a plane crash. Mm-hmm. And then after that, the younger brother, who was kind of rebellious, he took over. And he had some success too, but then he died in a car racing crash. Okay. So then all the billions have been left to this one. There's only one granddaughter, right? So she was always supposed to take over. She finally did. She took over a few years ago. And she, you know, everybody thought they were going to be big, but she always kind of stuck to the script, right? But little by little, it's been expanding. In-N-Out is now in Texas. In-N-Out is now in Arizona. You know, Arizona, and now in Nevada. I remember that I went to one in Nevada, and I went to one in Reno about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And you know what? I felt like the quality wasn't as good. I didn't like it. I was like, you know what? I don't know, man. If you're not gonna be In-N-Out, don't be In-N-Out. You know what I'm saying? Because that was their big thing. That like if we can't repeat our quality, even to this day, they don't. You can't order In-N-Out on Uber delivery or any of those. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you can't?
Because no, their quality control. They don't want to give it to somebody else to drive to you. It ruins their whole experience. So they're not on any. They're not on any of those apps. You will never get that delivered, dog. So they control their product like that. So I think a year so long, I noticed that they finally did do a change of the menu though, dog. And you know what they did? They added yellow peppers.
No, they've always had them.
No, well, maybe they were secret, but now they're they were out there where the ketchup is. You know what I'm saying? In-N-Out's always been good at having maybe secret. Maybe it was always a secret menu, right? But they really went hard on the chili peppers, right? They weren't there when I worked there. This was not a part of the company, right? But then they started bringing them now. But this is my problem, dog. Okay. Now, the last 2 times that I've gone, dog, you don't even, now, they're not like this. They don't come like this anymore. Now they do this thing where they slice them up. Have you seen it?
Oh, see, I always get them.
So,
I always
and
get
then,
them in the burger.
So then what messes me up, dog, is that, okay, is it individual In-N-Outs where some of them are so these yellow peppers, they cut them in circles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just different, dog. It's not the same type of spice. It ruins it, dog, if you ask me. So I feel like, dog, there's some kind of quality control being lost right there. Okay? First of all, you introduce the pepper, and now there's like not uniformity in the pepper.
Oh man. Can
Okay,
you turn on your phone?
turn it on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to airdrop you.
Yeah, I got it. Let me see. Yeah, I'm on, dog. Let me see here. Yeah, bro. So if I ruled the world, dog, I would not have approved these changes, dog. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be. I need to have a review. So are we doing the yellow peppers like this, or are we doing the rajas? Are we doing them in slices? You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. I've gone to 2 different ones, and I've only seen the slices. But then I went somewhere else, and I got these. What's up? It's out of control. I'm not down with this, dog. What do you think, Hank?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that they were not a thing, man. I always thought because when I would ask for them, and yeah, they would always give them to me, and then somebody, you know what? Someone told me on, hey, get him sliced in the burger, and that was a game changer for me.
Okay. So then
But
for
someone
you,
told
you've always seen it that way.
But yeah, but someone told me, is your are you CG?
Yeah, that's probably most likely. Yep.
All right.
So, dog, to me, it was first of all, it was amazing when I started seeing them. When I started seeing them at the where the ketchup and everything is, you know,
See, I didn't.
that was a giant step for me.
Okay.
I was like, wow, oh my god, pepperoncinis right here. Like they fucking finally. This was, dude, for them to do that, heck, you don't understand how big of a deal that is.
That was, yeah, I'm
It
sure.
was fucking major. That took 27 years to make that one, to add that one. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like sliced. I don't know, dog.
But I did notice too that at the bottom of I sent you that so you could put up on the screen because I can't, for whatever reason, I can't put it up.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say is yeah, for the longest I didn't know that no, I was gonna say at the bottom of the cup there's always like a Psalms, right? There's always something.
Oh yeah, there's always the church verse.
Right.
Yeah, which is awesome if you ask me.
And they're closed on Sunday? No,
it's that's Chick-fil-A that's closed on Sunday.
But they did something too, or was that the only?
Yeah, they put the Bible thing.
Yeah, that was it.
That is a big deal.
That was a big deal, especially back, when they were coming up. I'm sure, and nothing has changed, really, right?
Yeah, they keep gangster about their brand, man. So
yeah,
that's a little thought that I have. Here we go. I got the picture. Big dog. Boom. In-N-Out Burger.
There you go.
Man. All right, man. All right, moving on, dog.
That was my bad.
No trip.
That was that.
No trip, man. All right, man. Now we're gonna move on to everybody's favorite segment.
Great fucking move.
So great fucking move. All right, man. Today's great movie of the week is a great movie, dog. I'm sure you've seen this one, Hank, dog. It's a movie that reminds. It's a movie of our era, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's a gangster movie that's on my senior year in high school, dog. American History X, dog. You seen this movie, Hank?
Crazy movie, yeah.
Fucking gangster,
Can you hear me?
right? Edward, yeah, I can. Edward Norton, right?
Yeah.
He held it down in this movie, dog.
Yeah.
It's a tale of Venice. It's a tale of that where we talk about them white boys that are no longer around.
Yeah.
What happened to all those tough Venice white people?
Yeah.
Those Torrance white people that used to be back in them Hollywood Sunset white boys. They used to fuck shit up.
Thrasher kids.
Where'd they go?
Yeah.
They seem to no longer exist. Did they move to the San Bernardino and become fucking Mace head?
They were the outlaws of the
yeah. Are they bikers now? Those people now live in Utah and shit like that. What happened, right? But American History X. Let me show you guys a preview of the movie, man. The trailer.
Look, I told
I'm sorry.
you to see me.
I don't care what you told me, okay?
I'm trying to get through this and you're just making it harder.
You think you're the only one doing time, Derek? You think I'm not in here with you?
He was his mother's hope.
He's gone. You don't know the world your children are living in.
His father's legacy.
It's everywhere I look now. What? This affirmative black shit.
The white man marches on! See this? That means not welcome.
And his brother's hero.
I trust you, Derek.
Drop your weapon! Right now!
All that anger. All that hate.
Has anything you've done made your life better?
Derek Vineyard was released from Chino early this morning.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Too big to give me a hug?
Oh, it's good to see you.
Edward Furlong, John Connor.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Any Terminator fans?
Well, I came to talk about Danny. He's headed right where you are.
What's wrong with you?
Let the kid alone.
And Danny is out too. And if you come near my... Hey, Danny!
All right, man. That's enough of the preview, man. So, it's a movie, man, about skinheads in Venice, right? But it's a complicated movie, man, and it's layered, man. It's just it's what movies used to be, right? They used to make these great movies that weren't big budget, but they always had a medium budget and they would hit a message, right? So they're like this lower class white family, right? So what happens is that he starts off as an what's his name? Not Edward Norton's character. His name is he Danny Vineyard? Is he Danny or is he the other one? Hold on a second, I'll tell you right now. No, he's Derek. Derek is the older brother and Danny is the younger brother, right? John Connor is the younger brother, right? So Derek is the main one. So Derek, when he was growing up, so when we start the movie, it's the younger brother, Edward Furlong. His character is like he's gonna write a essay for his black teacher who's always on him. There at Venice High about American. He was gonna call it American History X about like racial stuff because he's like a skinhead, right? And then the thing is, he starts off antagonizing. He has his Jewish teacher, right? But it ends up being that Jewish teacher is now dating his mom because what happened is when they were growing up, we see these black flashes. Edward Norton's character, he was a good regular kid, right? But his dad, you saw it in the preview right there. His dad was a fireman who ended up getting shot in South Central. But right before that, there's like certain dinners where he started saying like all that he was like his son was all excited about like that same black teacher. He would teach him stuff about like Martin Luther King, and he would come home and he'd tell his dad like, you know, just like woke kids are like, oh, Dad, did you know this and all that? And then the fireman, that was kind of like, look, dog, that's about all this black, this is a bunch of bullshit, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then when he ended up getting shot, so then naturally, Edward Furlong, he starts building hate towards black people, right? So it's like the story of how a good kid becomes bad, right? And the thing was Venice went from being like a white suburb to becoming like a ghetto by the sea, right? And kids from South Central and Inglewood started moving there and making it like a ghetto, right? So it's like his side of the story, right? And what's funny is that even though they're skinheads, dog, during the story, there's parts where you actually root for them. You know what I'm saying? There's like the most famous scene is that so what ends up happening is that he gets recruited by the skinhead that's like this pastor around there, and then he becomes a big leader of the movement. So then let me show you. There's this classic ass basketball scene where they're in Venice, right? And they play for control of the court. So you always think the black kids are gonna ball. It's funny because at the end in this scene, you end up kind of like rooting for the white kids, right? Even though they're racist, right? So hold on, let me show you this scene, the basketball scene.
Quit chucking it up. Pass the ball.
They're like ghetto white people, right? They're like, you know, they're.
Look at this fucking Jungle Bunny. He does a spin move every time. Every time.
You ain't getting shit, motherfucker. You ain't getting shit. Over here. This one's for you, boy. Stop that. Yeah, boy, motherfucker, huh?
Lucky motherfucker, I'm through monkeying around with your fucking ass.
Pale, pasty, pastrami eat.
So we're gonna forward that.
We play black
So
guys
look,
against the white.
yeah. So they go. So they have the arguments and they have this final battle, right? They come up with this game.
I come in this game
Okay.
right now. Same score, but we play black guys against the white guys.
Oh, yeah. Damn your price, cracker.
No money for these courts. And not just today, for good. If you win, we will walk away. But if we win, no bitching, no fighting. Right here in front of everybody. You pack up your shit and get your black asses out of here.
Damn.
Take this back.
What do you think?
6-hour ball.
Let's go.
Damn. So because it's game, right? So you think they looking for racial strife? You think you're gonna go? You know what I'm saying? But then you think the black folks are gonna ball him up? But you know he's good ball, and shit, right? So they play this epic basketball game right there in Venice, those classic courts, right?
Right.
We'll fast forward, man. Give you an idea. White boys fucking come back. Like, that's the leader guy. That's the leader of the racial guys.
Oh. Bullshit, man. That's fucking offense.
Man, get the fuck out of here. He moved his feet. You want to go? I'm ready. Don't be throwing fucking elbows at me. Fuck that. You want to go? Adolf Hitler want to be, motherfucker? What? Pussy, man.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Look, this is the game winning, right? Bada bing, boom. The white boys win, dog. So what's funny, dog, at this point in the movie, you're like rooting for them. You're like, yeah, and they fucking win, right? But they're fucking racist assholes, right?
Wow.
So, but that's how charming the fool is, right? He's like a leader, right? So then that's when everybody remembers for this. So then what happens is the black guys, they didn't like losing, man. So they come back later and try to rob him, dog, right? And that's where the most gangsterous scene in this fucking everybody remembers. Let me see if I got that scene, dog. I'll tell you. You know what I'm talking about, Hank?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Let me see here.
Has he been there? I don't know. What's going on? Not right now, honey. How many? Danny, how many?
So the black dudes come. They come to fuck with him at his house after the game, right? Well, he's not having it, dog. He comes out shooting, dog. You know, he's like crossed the line now, you know?
Yeah.
But that's not it, dog. Look. And this fool, you remember this fool? He takes it personal, dog. Damn, dog, look at this.
Nigga, you just fucked with the wrong bull. Come here! You should have learned your place on the fucking basketball court. But you fucking monkeys
Spoiler alert, if you don't like squeamish things, please look away now, because this is where it gets rough.
never get the message. My father gave me that truck, you motherfucker. You ever shoot at violence? You come here, you shoot at my family? I'm gonna teach you a real lesson now, motherfucker. Put your fucking mouth on the curb. Put it on the curb right now!
Well, here, you hear the teeth, dog. Oh, I always remember that, dog.
Now say goodnight.
I won't play it, dog, but that's dog. This is where he goes crazy. This is the crazy, dog. This was at this time when this came out, dog. This was iconic, dog. He was like, yeah, this look. He looked all. He was nuts, dog. You know. He had that. I remember them white boys like that in Torrance and shit, dog. I was seeing them back in the days, dog. You know.
Crazy. Yeah.
So damn, that's where his life changes, dog. So then he ends up going to jail, dog. So right. So then, but when he goes to jail, he's like his lore becomes bigger and bigger. He becomes like a. So then his brother, you know, his brother was still innocent in those days. As he goes, he's now in jail. He goes to high school. He becomes a big skin in himself. And then that other leader guy, he starts brainwashing all the other local white kids, you know. And he takes over Edward. He brainwashes Edward Furlong's mind too, right? So Derek goes to jail, dog, and he fucking terrible things happen to him in jail, dog. You know what I'm saying? But we don't really see what happens. We end up seeing him coming back, and he comes back to try to save his family. When he comes back, everybody thinks that he's like, oh, because he's become famous. Like he was like the famous white boy from Venice who did that to those black dudes. So he almost become like a rallying cry, right? Okay. So when he comes back to town, everybody thinks that he's gonna be back and on, but we go back and we actually find out what happened to him in jail, and we find out, you know, as he goes back with his little brother, I'll show you guys the scene where he ends up fighting with like the leader. He's supposed to be back at the like welcome back party, and then he's not down with them much. Let me show you.
Here's kikes and spicks.
Oops, sorry about that.
Piece of the pie. Can't blame them. Of course, they're gonna have to fight together. And if we scare the fuck out of people and a few people get killed in the process.
There's always like, you know, religious leaders who recruit people, man.
Put that in your paper, Danny?
Hey, man.
Well, look who's here. The return of the soldier.
What are you doing here, Danny?
Come on, man. I had to check it out. You knew I was gonna come.
Let the kid alone, Derek. He knows when to go to bed.
He provides girls and drugs and all that for, you know what I'm saying? That's how you recruit people.
Come on, dear. I'm not doing anything.
Come on, there's this little blonde girl. She's sitting out there. She keeps asking for you. She's
Alright,
dying.
shit.
Come on.
Okay, well, I gotta check out.
Go easy on her.
All right.
Look at that. It's like he's coming back. He's trying to get him out the hood, you know. It's just their white boy hood, you know.
Right. That's just
Take it easy. The party was a little quick, but we're just so damn glad you're back, Derek. It's only natural you should feel a little funny.
I don't feel funny, Cam.
You know, you talk about organization. Wait till you see what we've done with the internet. We've got every gang.
Early days about,
San Diego working together now. They're not competing anymore. They're consolidated. Only thing we lack is a little overall leadership. And that's where you come in. Because people out there, they've got a lot of respect for you, Derek. When you're ready to.
So yeah, man. So
Trying to
see, so
recruit him,
yeah, so that's what happened. Let me see how do I take this out. So then we end up happening. He goes and he one day, so he ends up fighting with that guy right there, and he ends up embarrassing his little brother. Little brother, like, man, what the fuck, dog? You know, you're supposed to be. I've been holding it down for you and shit. Now you coming back and you talking that gay shit. You don't want to be fucking racist no more, you know. And he's not having it, dog. But then he ends up telling him the story, dog. He ends up telling him how he went to how it was for him in jail, dog. And for him in jail, at first when he got there, you know, he was all about it. He was all like, "Oh, white power," and he thought everybody was down, dog. You know what I'm saying? But when he got to jail, dog, it's just like most even essays and black people, they find out it's not what it's not what people think it is. People think it's all honor and we follow the code, right? But he was all about like fuck that, right? But when he went in there, he saw that fools were in there making money. So he went in there and he was trying to, you know, show that he wasn't no bitch and people respected him, dog. But then he noticed that the white power fools, he was really on that. I hate we're the Aryan race, we're the chosen ones. But the white power fools were the leaders. They would make money with the black fools. They would sell drugs to their own people and shit, right? And he tried to be on some righteous shit, like, hey man, that shit's not down, right? But then the fools who were leaders were like, look, dog, look, dog, this ain't what it is, homie. It's not like that. You might have believed the dream, homie, but this is something else, which is what it really is, dog. So long story short, dog, one day, dog, he bugs back at them, dog, and they make an example out of him, dog, and he gets raped in jail, dog. Yeah, dog. It's like a fucking terrible scene, dog. You know, they get him, dog, you know? And then he ends up befriending this black guy. He ends up being like on his laundry detail. And he found out he was just, you know, he's like real human being, you know what I'm saying? Like he ends up becoming homies, dog. So he comes back home to save his brothers, dog. And then I won't ruin the ending for you guys, man. But oh man, and then because his brother ends up beefing with these young black Crips, dude. They end up beefing it too, man. So he comes back to try to save him from the white power, right? But this is all in the middle of the 90s when, you know, it's a commentary on 90s LA, you know what I'm saying? On like that white boy culture, on how it all mixed up. Like this is a story, you know, there's many Venice boys who related to this, or maybe Costa Mesa, Orange County, you know what I'm saying? It's a tale that it kind of makes you see all the sides, right? Because the reason he had that hatred is, what if your dad was a fireman who got shot in South Central? How would you feel? You know what I'm saying? So once he gets that little seed of hatred in his heart, even though he was originally black, he wanted to be, the whole thing is called American because it's all based on this essay he's supposed to write for that black teacher who was a great teacher to him, right? He had opened up his mind at first and he was a great student, but once his dad died, he lost him to that recruiter guy, to that evil guy, right? And he filled his heart with hate, you know? And then, you know, his experience to it just, so, you know, in a way because then there's even this early scene where the white boys, they just feel like they're just like, and the thing is, you always think, no, that's fucked up, white man, but you will feel the same way if your barrio was all of a sudden Indians, all of a sudden people from India just took over your barrio, you would not like it. You would buck back. You know what I'm saying? If you're black, all of a sudden your whole block was just people from Cambodia, just Cambodians everywhere.
I think that just it happens.
It's natural.
It just happens in every place.
Yeah, it's a story of everywhere.
You know,
you know, it's a story of everywhere
coming in.
Yeah, dog. The new people they got to make their way in, and the old people don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So then they attack these immigrants that's fucked up, but they're like, he's like rallying. It's just a story. It's just like if it was Hispanic people, it's white boys, right? So it's just incredible. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the ending. But it just makes you think, man. It also reminds me, like we said, of those white people who I always wonder what happened to them. You know what? You're out there in I think a couple of them went out there to your parts, right? Santa Clarita.
Yeah,
couple of them tough white boys out there, no?
Oh yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah, yeah. There's tough white boys out there. I think there's. Then you go deeper. There's Lancaster. There's Palmdale.
Okay, I know Palmdale, but it's different. I don't know,
But I remember this. I remember this in the sense where I remember Venice. I remember that
Venice was
whole,
real.
Yeah, that whole culture in Venice. I remember that. Man.
It was like crazy tough boy white
real,
boys.
man. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, the Valley had, you know.
Yeah.
Valley had.
Did you watch this movie when it came out?
You know what? I caught this movie by surprise. It was one of those that I just happened to. I popped something in, and it was that, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah, it was an experience.
Okay, trip, man. All right, man. So that's the great movie of the week. I highly recommend it. If you got a chance, ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. Edward Norton is an Oscar-worthy performance here. You'll laugh, man. You'll cry. You'll feel of emotion.
Great fucking movie.
All right, man. So now we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. We're gonna go down a real interesting rabbit hole today, man. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole that a lot of people, if you're a certain young age, this is something you don't remember. But if you ask me and what I've been doing in my research, this is kind of what kicked it all off, man. It was the mini 90. It was the mini 90. It was a training ground for 9/11, for this COVID, and all this other bullshit that we have been going on. And we're gonna go down the rabbit hole today of the Oklahoma City bombing. You remember this, Hank?
I do remember that.
This was a big, giant event. I was you know what, this happened early. I was like barely old enough to I knew what was going on. I remember it. You know what I'm saying? But it was the big deal, right? It was the first. It was the first like attack on soil. You know what I'm saying? That somebody came and got us here, right?
That was what's his name that you talked about last time, right? That's what it was. A Unabomber, right?
No, it wasn't Unabomber. No, it was a guy called Timothy. Supposedly they blamed on this one guy called Timothy McVeigh, right? So the official story is that this one guy, Timothy McVeigh, who was a white supremacist, right? He got in one van, and with those explosives, he rolled up in there and he blew up this whole building. Look at all the explosives, dog. This is a giant federal building that with one van of explosives, he was able to blow this all up, one man, right? That is the official story. Children died that day, Hank. Brothers and sisters, 5 years old, 2 years old. People who worked every day. That same day, all the officers that were in there was a bunch of officers in there that was investigating the Clintons. All the documents were there, blown up.
Oh, wow.
All the people who were Israeli officers who had privacy stuff in there, who had officers in there, didn't show up to work that day. Okay? This is a picture of all the people who died.
What? I didn't know all that.
A tragedy, an American tragedy. Remember this picture? It was iconic. The firemen come out with the baby. They had the baby in there. Wow. So the rabbit hole is that once again, this was not what we were reported. This was an inside job. And if you ask me, my theory is like my overall theory. I posted something about it the other day. There's this video I posted on. If you got my Instagram, go to Czaleo Knows It All. There was a guy called Yiki. He was this great. Did you see it that I posted it? He was this police officer that everybody loved.
No.
He was the first person on the scene. He saved 4 people that day. He told his wife that day, he was like, they're lying about everything that they're reporting. Everything that they're reporting is a damn lie. He saw different things. He saw the truth. And he wasn't afraid. He was actually trying to be in it. He was like a model. He was a cop. Everybody loved him. You know what I'm saying? And he was going to be FBI. But when this event happened, he saw what actually happened. And he didn't play ball. And he was found suicided, Hank. What? Suicided with 2 bullet holes to the back of the head, 14 lacerations to his arms, and he walked a mile. Does that sound like a suicide to you? He was also anemic, which means that the moment he saw blood, he wouldn't have been able to do anything. He would have passed out. So he somehow lacerated his own veins on each side 14 times, put a rope around his neck, walked a mile, and then shot himself twice in the back of the head. What do you think, Hank? That doesn't sound like a suicide to me.
That sounds.
So Joe Biden, because this really goes back to the omnibus. Well, after this happened, Joe Biden was a big part of something called the omnibus bill, which didn't work. It was the same thing as what ended up being the Patriot Act, which is all these things where they took away our freedoms, right? The omnibus didn't help, but then after this happened, he was like anti-terrorist bill, and boom, that's where it started, dog. Right? I think this is the beginning of the Clinton and the Bush cartel and everything that's come since that. That was the first training. Then they did the World Trade Center that got fucked up, and then they really landed the 9/11 one, right? And then now everything that we've been going through since, dog. There's all kind of reports of other people, of other shooters, and also after that happened, that fool told himself, the place was all of a sudden there was FBI agents out of nowhere, and they were going in there and they weren't picking up bodies. They went there to pick up files only, and their jackets were the blue FBI jackets. But they were blue, but without the letters, with no letters, right? There was all kind of investigations that led to that way. They got burned. It was one of the last things that still had paper, everything. You know what I'm saying? But they also, what they do is they push these banging events to push through laws. You know what I'm saying? So this is like we do here is I want to open you up to ideas, right? I'm not gonna do the deepest dive of everything, right? But it's out there. It's crazy. There's lots of things that are incredibly suspicious about this. The FBI, once again, man, I feel like the FBI and the CIA, man, they're out of control, man. Those people, they've become tools of whoever's in power, right? I feel like I feel like this is what I feel like, Hank. This is what happened, dog. This is what I think is American history. America, the original America, ended when they killed Kennedy. When the people who killed Kennedy, they said we can do it. Because Kennedy was going to abolish the CIA and the FBI. He was coming. He was like, these people, these secret organizations, because they were all came from Harvard and they're just all fucking secret clubs who really run the thing, right? So they came and they made examples of them. Nixon knew that. Nixon told him to, like, I know you guys killed Kennedy. So then what did they do to Nixon? Destroyed him, right? Watergate, right? Became a clown, right? Destroyed, right? Bush and Clinton, they're the same mafia. They've been running drugs and people out of Arkansas for years, bro. People, the whole thing that but they've been making money together forever.
Wow.
That Bush Senior, he was there when Kennedy died. They took over, right? They've been manipulating it. They're the one. Clinton made the Democrats and the Republicans. They made the uniparty, right? Clinton is the one that figured out we just become corporate, right? So this is the cabal. This is the same fucking people. Obama, I don't know if Obama was always one of them. He was a plant from the get-go. Maybe if he was not a plant, if he was really this outsider came out of nowhere, which I seriously doubt if you look into his background. But if he was, he ended up eventually either selling out or cowering. He either was scared, right?
Wow.
Or he just sold out. He said accepted it, right?
Caesar Leo knows it all.
That's what happened. And Donald Trump, good or bad, he is a mafia. He is mafia. He's a crime lord. But he's a different crime lord. He's a different mafia than the mafias that's there today. Wow. Donald Trump represented actual change. Joe Biden, we gave him right back to them. Right? That's how change happens. People think that, it's going to be perfect. Barack Obama's a handsome guy. And it's going to be the good guy versus the bad guy. That's not how things happen. Sometimes it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. It takes a motherfucker to catch a mother. Now, Donald Trump was a motherfucker. He's a motherfucker that came in and fucked up all their plans. You know what I'm saying? He fucked up their plans. Whatever plan there was,
damn,
he derailed
son,
it
where'd you
for
find
whatever
this?
time it was. That was the last time I saw Democracy when he won. That was that damn giant victory that was out of nowhere, right? Like I said, good or bad, he's just different. And that's how change happens, but we fucked that up and give it back to them. But Oklahoma City is where a lot of this stuff starts, guys.
Wow.
Look into the officer Yiki, man. He did not kill himself, right? He was done incredibly wrong. There's all kind of people there who died that day. There's all kind of FBI agents. There's all kind of ATF agents who were, the whole ATF office took the day off. And then the two people supposedly had all these stories where, this one guy, he was buried in rubble. Then he used his martial arts skills to he learned how to karate chop his way through all the rubble and save himself and 4 other people, which ended up being lies. There's all these things. Then the army and the civil engineers, they redid the bombs. They tried it over and over to recreate it was impossible. It was physically impossible. The tonnage, the weight of the things that he had in that would not be able to do the damage that it was physically impossible. Okay? The military came, they even tried to cheat it. They added more than, look at what it did, dog. Wow. One truck? Dude. So then the theory is that guy McVeigh was the patsy, just like fucking Oswald, right? With fucking Kennedy, right? So there's 2 theories on him, dog. That he was the patsy the whole time, but that he knew it, and that what happened was the FBI was supposed to stop him, but that fool said, nah, they convinced him so much that his handler, he ended up killing the fool that was supposed to be with him. And the FBI thought they were going to just get so far, but he ended up that's like the if FBI looks good, which I don't know. And then he ended up doing it anyway, right? But then the other story is that he was like, because he had wrote letters to his sister. He was like, yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm getting CIA now. Because he had CIA clearance. He was a real CIA guy. And he ended up telling her he didn't know if he was going to do drug running or something else, man. So, bro, it's just so many things that connect on Oklahoma City. And then they try to make it seem like, he was mad about Waco. It's all this. They always make them lie, dude. The media's been lying to us, dog. So, Oklahoma City, ladies and gentlemen. When you have time, go down that rabbit hole. Quite juicy. All right, dog. We'll move along, big dog. Wow. All right, man. Good stuff, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nuts, huh?
That was crazy.
When you have a chance, like,
yeah,
because we all accept it.
I never necessarily tied everything together like you did, but yeah, like I definitely didn't know about the files got removed. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So after you said that, I was like, oh yeah, of course.
There was mountains. They everything was like all the. It's always, you know, when all these big events happened. Look at the initial reports from like the local stations. Now with there's always like initial reports in the first couple of hours. That's what really happened. There's always
Damn,
other
son,
people.
where'd you
we
find
saw 4
this?
people. You know what I'm saying? There's always like we saw 4 men do it, and then all of a sudden, no, this is what happened.
Narrative
Dog. You know what I'm
changes.
saying?
All right.
The narrative changes, dog. So, all right, man.
Stay woke.
All right, man. All right, we're moving along pretty good, man. We're gonna move on, man. We're gonna do.
I'm being hard on you right now, but I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to teach you how to be responsible. It's like your little friends across the street. They don't have anybody to show them how to do that. They don't. You're gonna see how they end up too.
That's right. All right, man. Things your daddy should have taught you, man, for today, February 28th, 2023. And today's something that I find incredibly important to myself, man. And that is, if your dad didn't teach you this, is be a damn gangster about your manners. Having manners is the ultimate expression of masculinity. They say cleanliness is next to godliness. Having manners is that closest. Having manners is not a matter of being a bitch or not. It's just about you have to be incredibly like I heard this quote was like I had to be incredibly violent in order to like. Well, no, how was the quote that I heard? It was like you don't know the amount of violence it took to become this peaceful and stuff, right? Like to be a gangster. Like remember Boardwalk Empire, Nucky? Always have your memory. Remember the character. I love this character, Candy from Django Unchained. You know, I have a clip. He's like those Southern gentlemen that know, even when they're offending you, they're like, well, they must still keep it like in that polite. That shit is so fun. I respect that shit so much, dog. It's so gangster. Hold on. Let me show you this one. Calvin Candy.
I've heard tell about you. I heard you've been telling everybody that Mandingos ain't no damn good. Ain't nothing nobody is selling is worth buying. I'm curious. What makes you such a Mandingo expert? Curiosity. The boss looks a little green around the gills for a blood sport like nigger fighting.
Nah. He just ain't used to seeing a man ripped apart by dogs is all.
You are used to it.
I'm just a little more used to Americans than he is.
Huh.
Now.
Sense of showmanship.
Showmanship, yes.
I want to be able to build. Comes to presentation.
What is the matter?
Them motherfuckers ain't here to buy no Mandingo.
Oh man, I can't get a good seat. Hold on, let me remove this one. I think I have a better one. Hold on a second. I do not. Well, anyway, he's always just even when he disagrees, he's like, "You will shake my hand, sir, kind sir, here in the South." You know what I'm saying? He's just a gangster about his manners, dog. You were like Denzel Washington in American Gangster, dog. You know. Yeah, if your dad didn't teach you, man, to have manners is the ultimate expression of manliness.
There's a form of class to that, man. There
is
class to that.
There's class to it. Thank you, please. Even when things are difficult, to be able to express yourself, to always, it's even like, or like fools who are in jail. There's a lot of fools people who are in jail, there's a lot of respect about you always do the same routine. No matter what, like people don't shake you. Even if other people that it's even about like no matter how country you are or what you do, you will not shake me. I will still say thank you, sir, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's dope. I've been in moments where I've gotten in fights with like hotel staff or something like that. But I might raise my voice, but I will always remain professional. You know what I'm saying? Because I am correct. I'll be like, no, you are treating me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be gangster. That's things the dancers should have taught you. You know what I'm saying? Be a gentleman.
You know I'm being hard on you right now, but I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to teach you how to be responsible. It's like your little friends across the street. They don't have anybody to show them how to do that. They don't.
Yeah. All right, man. So you know what? The next one I'm gonna do is the lower expectations. So this one, man, I'm gonna do, man. It's about somebody that for a long time that he was like the sacred cow of my generation, dog. You ever heard of this guy called Malcolm Gladwell, Hank?
No, I don't think so.
So Malcolm Gladwell is an author, right? He's this author that came out in the early 2000s. He like changed the world with his book called The Tipping Point. Everybody in my age group, when The Tipping Point came out, they all fucking sucked his dick. He was supposed to be like the fucking smartest guy that ever lived, right? I never fucking fully bought it. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Let me get it. I thought I had a picture of this fool. Where's he?
I remember this book.
You know what?
The Tipping Point.
And he had another one called The Outliers, right?
Okay, I remember that one.
So
okay, I know that one.
So both of those books, they they had a really interesting points about like how abortion rates change, how abortion made it better. So people let's go to crimes. You know what I'm saying? Outliers about how some special people, there's connectors who connect everybody and salesmen who make ideas happen.
I remember
right?
they
Remember
pushed
all
that one. They pushed
right,
that
okay.
one.
So, hold on a second. So this will, and then ever since then he's been like this. He's like this darling of media, right? He's like, what I hate about my is that as soon as it's just like he had good points, but people took it like it was a damn Bible, right? And he's like this androgynous. Is he a boy? Is he a girl? Is he's weak? He's not strong, right? So, dude, he had this thing called the monk debates, right? Where all these smart people come and they debate, bro. And he went on there with Matt Taibbi and with Douglas Murray, dog. Bro, Matt Taibbi, I've talked about him before. Taibbi is dope, dog. Taibbi, if you grew up, and I remember when Rolling Stone used to matter, Hank?
Yeah.
When Rolling Stone would have those exposés about the Bush agenda and Iraq and all that shit and them dope stories, Taibbi's that, dog. He's from that. He's a journalist, dog, right? He's the one that's behind all the Twitter drops, right?
Okay.
And now he's being villain because he used to be a darling of media too, but once he started going against the narrative, now they're like, oh, he's a right-wing leaner. Even though his whole life, nigga, he's been rock and roll, right? His whole life he's been anti-establishment. But now that the left, now that they are the establishment,
right.
Now if you go against them, then you're a fucking right. But no, the thing is that you're the fucking establishment now, right? So Taibbi's a gangster, right? But then more than he went against this other guy called Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray, he's British, he's gay, right? But he's a gangster, dog. He's like not woke for shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Bro, it was a damn spanking, Hank. It was a damn verbal, because these are fools going, this is like for intellectuals. They go out there and they debate, right? Dog, it was a damn spanking, dog. It was just a master class, dog. And like Gladwell, he's like the rest of them. He's all full of shit. When he didn't have an argument, he would just be like, well, obviously, since you're racist tropes, what you mean to tell me, like, all these, they have these weak ass 2003 arguments, dog, right? These fucking arguments about, and once they're confronted with the other side, like they, you know what I'm saying? He just made fool. I think I got some clips, dog. Douglas Murray just slices this fool out. It's like watching, dog, fucking Canelo whoop the shit out of, like everybody, or Canelo everybody thought Canelo's so great, and then some fool comes out of nowhere and just fucking waxes his ass,
Right.
Let me see, dog. Do I have it? Here we go. It's wonderful. And I love it because I was always like, people suck. Like, dude, nobody ever questions it. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
They just go along with it.
Yeah. He has some unique ideas. They were
thumb the
interesting,
scale. Our job is just to call things as we see them and leave the rest up to you. But we don't.
A conversational bully.
Read your book, David and Goliath. Of course you don't want to hear it. I'm sorry, it's not my fault, it's yours. And your fact checkers.
What you're about to witness is a conversational bully getting absolutely roasted. This is one of those rare examples of a mainstream media journalist having to defend their ideas without the help of a corporation behind them.
As we see them and leave the rest up to you. But audience and Feed It News,
www.
This guy, I took this video. This guy's awesome, dude. I'll give his link.
Interesting in January and February of this year. Why? Because you had protesters in Ottawa. Really interesting. When people come out in large numbers, and you know what the job of reporters is? The job of reporters is to go out and say, why are you on the streets? What brought you here? Why are you here with your kids? Why have you got a bouncy castle in the middle of Ottawa? That's a bit strange. Ask them questions. Just find out the story. But you know what? The government didn't want that in Canada. your Prime Minister decided in advance that these people were, what did he do? All the modern excommunications. They were Nazis, they were white supremacists, they were anti-Semites, they were probably homophobes, they were misogynists, they were probably transphobes.
This was a gangster, Douglas Murray.
All the things you do in the modern political age if you want to just defenestrate somebody who's awkward to you. And then he brings in the Emergency Powers Act. Now, at such a time, what would the mainstream media do? It would question it. It would question it. The Canadian mainstream media did not. The Canadian mainstream media acted as an amen chorus of the Canadian government. I will give you a couple of examples, but...
So the whole conversation is about the media and the role the media plays, right? And then Malcolm Gladwell, he's just like totally corporate, right? And these fools, they just dismantle his ass.
In Ottawa.
Extremely alarmed.
I want to see Gladwell talk. And then Gladwell, he starts mispronouncing people. He just acts like a damn child. Dog.
Part of that is for financial reasons.
Wait, I can't sit here
Watch.
and let you make these statements that without any kind of. We don't do that as much as we used to for financial reasons. I mean, I worked at the New Yorker. The New Yorker, if anything, spends more money on fact checking today than it did in the past. I would have thought, with my first book, I didn't hire a fact checker, but then I observed the number of errors in it. I also observed that the nature of the journalism world in which we live, the scrutiny of journalists is such that it's really perilous not to have a fact checker. And so now I have fact checkers. Many other people, I think, have observed the same thing, that there is now so much attention paid to the accuracy of things that writers say that
I read your book.
This is where he fucks him up, right?
So people now watchdog institutions like that, and so they have a higher commitment to the truth.
He fucks him up right here, watch.
So first of all, hold on, Matt. Let's bring Douglas in on this. I just want to hear his voice.
Doug is speechless.
I'm never speechless.
Watch, he fucking schools this fool right here.
I'm never speechless.
I can't sit here and listen to Malcolm Gladwell talking about fact-checking and the importance of it. Not to get too mean, Malcolm. I read your book, David and Goliath. The chapter on Northern Ireland is more filled with inaccuracies than any other chapter in a non-fiction book I have read.
That out was Mike Tyson. Oh, the right hand!
It is, having written a not very well selling, but widely acclaimed book on Northern Ireland myself, my book on Northern Ireland didn't sell anywhere near as much as yours did, Malcolm. But mine was filled with facts. And your
So, man, I'm not going to do it. It's just where it begins, dog. But, bro, he fucking school. And I love it, dog, because Malcolm, he just exposed. Even though he's just, all his arguments are just basic. Well, it's just because you're racist tropes and people were lying and white supremacy. When you go to against a real intellectual, dog, it was just wonderful, dog.
Bad.
So, Malcolm Gladwell, this is nice. Look, tipping point. It was good outliers. But once people are chosen, he's one of the chosen. He's always been at. He goes to Jay Leno, and then he's just the chosen idea and like part of the narrative. And then when these people are actually confronted, they get destroyed. Dog. You know what I'm saying? When they get confronted by actual people who actually think. So if you have a chance, check it out. It's called The Monk Debates. Matt Taibbi, Douglas Murray versus Malcolm Gladwell. It is a damn lesson in debate. All right, Don. Now we're gonna move on to our last segment of the day. We didn't get no views today because we got out super late, Doc. But hopefully, you guys check this out later on, man. All right, Don. As you guys know, LA is a funny place, a place that's misunderstood. That's right. California dreaming, Brian. A place where dreams come true, nightmares come true too, man. All right, man. So today's Hollywood tale, ladies and gentlemen, is a sad tale of a young man who was on his way up and then talked too much and ended up going down, man. Today we're gonna tell the tale of Czaleo the Ruler. You know about Czaleo the Ruler, Hank?
I do know about Czaleo, man.
You know what's funny is that here in the studio where we're at, his crew was here, man. There was actually a bunch of tagging on the wall before, right, Hank?
Yeah, it was
Sting Team.
Sting
I think
Team.
they recorded here, man. They just recorded here a lot, man, at the studio. We won't tell you. It's top secret in the hills of Hollywood. um, Drakeo the Ruler, man, was a rapper that was on the come up, man. He was part of the West Coast movement. He's a young man who actually grew up in South Central LA and went to Washington High. Um, a kid who had done a lot of stuff in his few years on this earth, right? Um, he really first started getting known. He had like a little dance crew, right? He wasn't really a gangster, right? But he had a little dance crew. But then they started robbing people. He started loving. He used to call it flu flam, and they started being known for robbing Asian people, doing a home invasion robbery to Asians. Because as you know, as some people know, right? Asians tend to keep their valuables at home because they don't trust banks. So there's this thing that sometimes people rob those people, right? So he had done that, but then he also started rapping, right? His main thing was he started kind of blowing up. But he got in contact with DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard kind of showed him some love, and he was moving here on the West Coast, right? He had a really big one thing that was real big in his life. He was one day where he went to this party with a bunch of Crips, and they ended up getting in a fight with these Inglewood family bloods, right? He went to this like pajama party in Gardena. And even though he wasn't officially a Crip, all his friends were Crips, right? So long story short, some fools that he was with ended up shooting this other blood dude who was pretty famous. Though he had been on all those interviews and shit. I forgot what his name was. He was kind of blind. You know what I'm talking about? He was like, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was charged with let me see. It was first degree murder. It was in 2016, right? It was in car. One person was killed, two were injured. That guy, he was like this little famous blood. He was skinny. He was blind. In one night, but they finally got him that day, dog. So, but it wasn't Drakeo himself, right? So, but long story short, he ended up doing a gang of time over that, dog. He went in there for like a year, even though they couldn't prove it was him, and even though some other fools admitted it was them, they still kept Drakeo in there, right? But he ended up doing mixtapes, and then when he got out, he was blowing up, dog. When he came out, he was really hot. You know what I'm saying? He was really hot, dude. He was making noise, but he would have that other little beefs going on, you know. Like most rappers, right? But like anybody else, he was moving, dog. You know, I started to hear his name. And I was still confusing with Drake. I was like, is it Drake? You know, but Drake, like I was still like not totally clear. But I'm not also the coolest fool and most in the loop, dog. So right, but he was definitely moving, dog. He had a thing called the Stink Team. The Stink Team, that was his crew, right? He had beef with a guy. You know, I just recently started. Did you know about Catchy the Great, Hank?
No.
You know who that is?
No.
Catchy with his other LA cat, dog. He ended up getting ran over 2 times.
What?
You know what? There's this other funny thing, dog. Well, I'll tell you later, dog, about people say that their management is shady, dog. All these fools management had the same manager, they're all dead. You know what I'm saying? Some weird shit, dog. You know what I'm saying?
That's Empire.
Yeah, dog. Some weird shit, dogs, right? But anyway, when he came out, dog, he started blowing up, man. He started having verses with famous people, dog. I think Drake actually got in this shit. Other big rappers started, coming out for him, right? He had the Truth Hurts, he had to Keep the Truth Alive, he had out of characters. Big mix mixtape was Mr. Mosley. I Am Mr. Mosley was one that got, they gave him a lot of shine, right? But dog, then he had the genius idea, which is this one I remember when I heard it, when I got pissed when I heard it. I thought when somebody, I remember Ace told me one day, Ace was like, you heard Drake kill Drake, this Inglewood, he had this song called Ingleweird.
Yeah.
I thought he said Drake. I thought Drake this thing. I was like, Drake, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna write this out right now. Like, fuck Drake, you know what I'm saying? Fucking Canadian ass motherfucker. Right? I was pissed, dog. Remember that? I was mad confused, dog, but it ended up being this fool. Because he had beef with the Inglewood family. After all that, he had shootouts, and he went after a whole city, dog. He did a whole video campaign. I'm from Inglewood, dog. That shit is, even to this day, I'm mad he's lying. He's dead, dog, but it still makes me mad when I see that video, dog, you know?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that's one thing about Inglewood, man. Inglewood, it's a very prideful city. It's a very pride, and it rides together, bro.
Dog.
It's different.
Anywhere in LA, people are writers, dog. So don't call out anybody, dog. Don't call out anybody in a group, dog, because everybody, you can't blame you. Every hood got real people. Everybody, no matter how nice it is, no matter how ghetto it is, there's gonna be writers, there's gonna be weak fools, there's gonna be a little bit of everything, dog. So unfortunately, dog, he actually had the biggest concert. He was gonna be part of the Summer Nights thing. Right there in Inglewood itself, at the Wi-Fi center, the SoFi Center. He was gonna be part of this with Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg. He showed up that day, man. He showed up with 12 people, all of his security. They got all their guns taken away. They got everything taken away, right? They couldn't even have. He had like 2 securities, 4 cameramen, like fools who were like his friends, but they weren't gangsters, All of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody said, man, fuck this team, right? So then he comes out, starts squabbing, but then out of nowhere, like 50 bloods show up, dog. Swooping everywhere, dog. Some people say he was ambushed. Some people say it's a setup. This is all legal issues that are still going on, right? If you can follow, if you want to go into those deep dives, go for it yourself. There's plenty of things to follow. But long story short, man, Drake got stabbed through the melee, man. He got stabbed in the neck. Somebody in a black ski mask got a knife in their hand. And once you hit that neck, dog, once you hit that jugular, bro, it's over, dog, you know? He got one of those injuries you can't recover from. And unfortunately, the young man known as Drakeo, his real name, Derek Wayne Caldwell, died on December 19th, 2021. A sad story of a young man who was, you know, he was about to be like the dude in LA, right?
Yeah,
he was doing it, dog, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, when you can't call the whole 40 people, that means the people united. That wasn't one gang, that was a few gangs. You know what I'm saying? That was a few people who knew a few people, right? Guys, watch your mouth, man. You know, I'm the one telling you. You know, I got a big mouth, man. But certain people, certain organizations, stuff like that, man. Them criminal people, they're criminals, dog. You know what I'm saying? Don't fuck with them, dog. If you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Don't come here in LA, dog. We're proud. People have a ridiculous pride about their cities. Even me, I'm telling you, when I was pissed, dog. You saw that there. You take it to heart. Ignorant as it may be, do not diss Long Beach, do not diss as a whole. Do not diss all of San Pedro, do not diss all of South Central. There's many people from there. They will take it personal. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to the young man. You know, he has so much potential. He accomplished many things in his life, man, you know. God bless. He has a brother out there. What's his name? They all have these weird names, dog. I'll tell you right now. But that's him, dog. What did you know about him, dog? Did you know more about him?
I didn't know much, man. I didn't know much. I just kind of was catching on. I was catching the wave right when.
Yeah, he was catching the wave, right?
Yeah. I didn't know much about him. I kind of heard some of his music, but yeah, I was hearing more of his name than the actual music, you know. Yeah, man, sad. And then, like you said, you know, yeah, man, wow.
Yeah, he was from the. I mean, those. You know what? I worked at the animal schools for a few years, man, and the kids that I work with, they all were kids who would have gone to Washington or the Lock or Chaleo. He was right there. He was from that same neighborhood, from the hundreds, you know.
I do remember that song.
Oh, Ralphie the Plug. His brother's Ralphie the Plug. That's his blood brother. Same mom, same dad. You heard of him, Ralphie the Plug?
No, I haven't.
Oh, but that's a little crew, man.
But so. I did hear, like immediately, man, when he dropped that diss song, that was like the first thing that was like.
Come on, dog. You got the whole hood. You got everybody. Around.
As a matter of fact, I think we were in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When that came out?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We're having a good time. Yeah. Damn, dog. So, and you know what? Like, the movement died after him, right? Like, the distinct team still out there?
Yeah. You know, that's funny because I was thinking about that, too.
I don't know, man. You know, that sucks, dog. You know, he was a leader. The man, the guy was a leader. You know what I'm saying? He was a leader, man. So, when leaders, they're rare, man. So that's that, man. That's the show for today, man. Like I said, we had technical difficulties, but anybody, hopefully you catch us on the next day. This is Leo Knows It All, episode 47, volume 7 here on YouTube. What's up, Hank? Any shout outs? Anything you want to say on the way out?
It was definitely a fatty show, man. It was a great show, man.
Shout out to Saints and Sinners, or Friends of Sinners. My dog Tito. Check out his line right there. Check him out on Instagram.
That was a good show, man.
Season Leo, I got love for you guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. We will. Stay positive. Keep your head in the swivel. Don't be accepting all these bad ideas. All right. Remember, I do not know it all, but I definitely know more than you. All right, your dog, Season Leo. Much love.